Hey guys, so it's Caleb from White Metal Games here. I've been trying to do more videos for the internet, and I certainly have fallen behind a little bit. So I thought I'd do a little catch-up video today just to show you a couple things around the workshop, just to show you what I've been working on. So here we go. Okay, so first off, obviously after the workshop got done, I had a lot more time. These are some Turvagons I worked on recently. These are what I'm calling some poor man's Turvagons. They're currently up on eBay. They're based on appropriately sized bases, as you can see. They're based on old Kenner alien figures with a termagant coming out of the chest here. In game, they count as having crushing claws. And just to give you an idea of scale, I'll put one up here next to a marine. There you go. Now that focuses in. So you see, it's a pretty hulking figure. It looks like it has 6 wounds over this guy that has 1 wound. So I think that's pretty appropriate. Down here, once the camera focuses, these are some poor man's tomb stalkers I made using some spare Trigon bits and some Dark Eldar parts for the tail here. I actually got this idea off of Bell of Lost Souls. One of the subscribers had done a video there, and it looked really nice. So these are, you know, they're not perfect, but they look pretty good once you paint them up metallic, I think, for at least for a poor man's version of it. These are some proxy malanthropes I did based on a Carnifex kit. My Tyranid army, my personal army, it looks like an aquatic themed army, so I did these guys kind of look like a Cthulhu creature rising up out of the waves. As you can see, it's mostly a Carnifex kit with just some extra bits, a lot of you know, pustulating sacks and that sort of thing. I've got some it's hard to see, but these are some demons that I'm selling for a friend. He ordered, or he had me paint some demons up for him, and then he decided he was going to go a different direction with his army, and so now he's getting rid of them. These are a couple of Turvagons that are going out to a client in Germany today. These are pretty standard fare for me now. I use a couple Trigon bits, these large egg sacs in the back, which I use to sort of simulate, you know, the pouch where he keeps all the termagants at. So it's sort of a cheap alternative as opposed to spending a lot of money on a kit. You just buy one of these from me, and it's about twice the price of a Carnifex kit, and certainly worth it, I think. These are a couple random dooms and parasites. These are pretty cookie cutter for me at this point. I've done so many of them. So these are going out to various clients. And again, all of these are for sale on eBay. So if you see something you like, you know, send me a message or just look on my eBay store. It's White Metal Games on eBay. This is another close-up of one of those. This one actually did sell, so I'm sending that out today. And if you want to follow me outside real quick, I actually just, and this may go bright, I just finished up priming some 2 more Turvagons for another client. This is my priming station. This client really liked the Moloch look that I used on a few other ones, so he wanted me to duplicate that. This 6-armed creature is kind of what I think of as a Spider-Gon almost. It uses mostly Carnifex bits. It's hard to see the sacks there between the torso and the tail, but those sacks are actually the toxin sacks from the tail of a Trigon. And then the basing here is just cork basing, which is sort of a poor man's slate. So anyway, those were sold on eBay, and the client just requested some basic modifications, and so that's how I did that. And you can do that, you know, if you email me and you say, hey, I really like this model, but I want to change a couple things on it, that's no problem. Just email me and let me know. Let's see what else we have in the workshop that we have coming up. This is a Seth miniature that a client has asked me to convert into a Karn miniature. He runs a Chaos army, but he really wants to use the Seth miniature, so what we're going to do is just convert him up, swap out some heads, so that'll be coming up in the next few weeks. The Mumak Project I've been promising for a while. Actually, I'll pause the camera and come back to it. Okay. So this is the Mumak Project I've been talking about for quite some time that a client in the UK has requested. He did another project with me a while ago, and he liked it so much that he wanted to continue. So this army is basically, it's going to be sort of a, he said his goal with it was to have a Mumak with some guys that look like they're riding an elephant. So he's got some of those old helmets back from the African or the English occupation of Africa back in the oh lord, I guess the 1800s, back in the Zulu period. Anyway, so this is the Mumak of Harad, which is obviously a Lord of the Rings miniature, but we're converting it. So what he wanted was to have several levels and firing platforms on it. So this is this kit is actually a combination of mini kits, including some Pegasus Hobby kits, obviously Planet Strike, and then these weapon batteries over here on the sides are from Imperial Guard regiments. A lot of trim work went into this to make this all custom fit. This is obviously a large las cannon. Now in game, I don't know what exactly he's going to count this as. I think he's going to count it kind of like a Predator of some sort, but obviously much, much larger, which, you know, you could argue, hey, you know, that's not really a tournament-worthy figure, but it's going to look really neat. It's going to be a fun apocalypse figure for sure. The howdah actually comes off. For now it does, at least. And eventually I'll probably glue it down. It'll just depend on storage and shipping, how I want to do it. To cover up a lot of this stuff on the belly, I put a couple of these plates on here and bent them using a hot tool, or a heat gun, and I'm going to have to go back and green stuff over it. Now they don't exactly mesh up on here on the bottom, as you can see. If you look closely, you can see that they don't exactly mesh up. But you're never really going to see the bottom of this figure. He's going to be bolted to this base, so it'll be hard for any sort of viewer to look at this and say, hey, those don't mesh. So remember that modeling is partially just what you see. So all of this stuff will be green stuffed over to look like more of this natural fibrous skin on the pachyderm. And then the platform goes on top, obviously. Tried to cover up as many things as we could with these sorts of plates areas. Obviously some city fight bits in here too. Some additional things like this little crate here, this weapon storage crate, I think is from a standard kit. And a lot of these gaps will have to be filled with little green stuff, but mostly because of the industrial look to it, I'm not too worried about it. So I'd say this one is pretty much about 90% done. I just have to do the green stuff work, and then it'll be done. And once the client signs off on it, it'll be, I'll just build the other one exactly like it. I haven't heard from him, but he's one of those guys that works a lot, so it's hard for him to check his email on a regular basis. The advantage of these platforms, too, is that you can actually fit figures on these areas. So he can put like a command platoon up there. He requested that it be big enough that he could put some guys up there, but not, and you know, not glue them down. So there's enough room on here that you could put a couple 28mm base figures on there, like a firing guy, and I think that'll look pretty sharp. So I guess that's it for now. You know, I'll try to do another update in about a week or so and tell you where I stand on other projects. I guess I can show you one more thing. What else do we have? It sort of took a work at home day, so I'm kind of finishing up a couple things. So these are some spore pods for another client. I don't build these much anymore because there's not really a lot of profit in them. You know, I sell these for about 20 bucks, but the kit costs me 15. So it's really sort of I only do it when clients request it, because I get the spare bits out of the kit and I use those for other things. So it's not awful. These things still need to have some bits added on to them, but you know, really that's about an afternoon's worth of work, which I'll probably get to today. And then his bigger project, which I'm very excited about, are these Turvagons that he wanted done. I haven't done any custom Turvagons in a while. I'm just cutting stock. So these are actually going to set like this. And they have this tail on there, which, although it's a completely different kit, I'm going to blend it to make it look authentic. What I was really interested in was how the bottom here matches, and that's what I wanted to match. And the top, I'm going to match. And then I've cut off this fin that was on there originally, and that I'm going to go over with some really teeny tiny carapace bits. I've got hundreds of Gene Stealer plates that really don't get used anymore because dealers don't have the extended carapace biomorph anymore. So because of that, a lot of modelers have, well, you can see on the side there, a lot of modelers have these left over. And because of that, I can use those to my advantage. The top of this figure is going to have this old Screamer Killer figure mounted on top of it. So he'll be mounted kind of like this, with obviously Crushing Claws or Siding Talons or whatever we go with. It doesn't look like it blends very well now because it doesn't yet, but it will. And you may say this looks kind of small in comparison to the body, but the head always is going to look small in comparison to the body. So once it's done, I feel pretty confident it'll blend pretty well. So I guess that's it for today, and I will get back with you guys as soon as I have another video for you. Okay, so thanks. Happy modeling.